seen stars in the sky, but they seem so much kinder when we watch them, you and I.
A film should elicit a reaction from its viewers. If it doesn't, then it's a bland, uninteresting film that fails to engage or connect. It must be said that even most of the bad movies I've reviewed have made me feel something in their own way. But Dark Star, a very early John Carpenter movie, is not a bad movie, it's a great movie. The reaction Dark Star gave me was giddy, grinning amusement. The film follows a weary crew of deep space travelers with the mission of detonating unstable planets. Dark Star is incredibly, ridiculously, incurably camp, and I loved it. This is a very funny science fiction black comedy in which the campiness does not diminish the many moments of heart and drama or the interesting ideas on show here. The characters feel pretty interchangeable at first, but they soon become more distinct and even rather likable. We can see that they are slowly growing listless and stir-crazy from the isolation and boredom of their mission, and they each cope, or fail to cope, in different ways. We spend the most time with Pinback, played by Dan O'Bannon, who also co-wrote this and later Alien, who is caught in a chain of humorous, risky accidents while trying to catch the ship's mischievous, beach ball-like alien mascot. The film consists of a series of vignettes and concepts that add up to a comedy of errors, as the ship is frequently prone to malfunctions, whether from outside forces or its own badly programmed, badly constructed workings. These funny elements include the aforementioned beach ball hijinks, the sassy ship's computer, and Lieutenant Doolittle mentioning that one of the ship's compartments destroyed itself and took their entire supply of toilet paper with it. We get more than a few chuckles from the artificially intelligent bombs that the Dark Star crew deploy. The notion of a lowly bomb thinking for itself and causing trouble for its wielders is a clever and slightly scary idea, and Bomb Number 20 has an amusingly childish, petulant personality, as he is increasingly annoyed and impatient about the false detonation commands he keeps receiving. I also love how Lieutenant Doolittle persuades the bomb not to explode by teaching it solipsism, which kinda backfires by the end. Yes, Commander Powell calls it phenomenology, but the idea that you cannot be certain of the accuracy of your sensory perception is an important part of solipsism. Despite all the silliness on display, Dark Star has some suspense, as the magnetized asteroid storm, the glitchy computer, and the defiant bomb all pose a plausible threat to the character's survival. Also, the damage caused by the storm and the alien have lasting effects, as they factor into the surprisingly tense, very clever climax. Dark Star has some touching, evocative moments, such as Doolittle reminiscing about how much he loves surfing, Talby gazing at the cosmos as it drifts by, and then expressing his longing to see the fabled Phoenix asteroids. These absorbing anecdotes demonstrate a rare exception to the show-don't-tell rule, and, once again, they are given satisfying closure in the climax. The scene of Lieutenant Doolittle talking with Commander Powell, who died from a radiation leak but has been cryogenically frozen to be consulted in times of emergency, is also quite an eerie part of the film. On top of being very funny and filled with enjoyable character interactions, Dark Star is a well-structured comedy. Nearly all of the seemingly unconnected elements mentioned above are kept in some level of focus throughout the film and culminate or build up in some way to the climax, meaning that Dark Star does not feel like an insubstantial series of skits. Dark Star has a clear, consistent plot that gradually emerges from the absurdity. It also looks good for a $60,000 movie made in 1974. The model ship, space environments, lighting, rotoscoping, and explosions all look decently realistic, and the fact that the alien mascot obviously looks like a beach ball with claws is part of the farce. Dark Star certainly has a couple of flaws. The sound design is poor and rather muffled at times, and the acting is pretty goddamn terrible. But these problems hardly harm the overall experience. Ultimately, Dark Star is just a really fun, often hilarious film with an expertly structured plot and many intriguing ideas. Let's return to reactions. After 9 songs, Rage, and most recently, Sleeping Beauty, I felt pretty much nothing other than a vague irritation at the lack of substance. After There Will Be Blood, I felt a multitude of emotions: disgust, shock, a karmatic schadenfreude kind of satisfaction at Plainview's revenge, and awe at the craftsmanship. But after Dark Star, I just felt happy. That's the highest compliment I can give a comedy like this. Dark Star earns 4.5 stars out of 5. Thanks for watching. Cheers.